everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video I am going to explain you another topic from UGC NET or the KSET exam preparation, that is higher education system. So in the previous video I have explained about the topics from general paper for the preparation of KSET exam or UGC NET. So here the topics that I have covered are teaching aptitude, research aptitude, communication, and today I am going to explain you about another topic, that is higher education. So in that we have the subunits called institutions of higher learning and education in ancient India, and then evolution of higher learning and research in post independence India, oriental conventional and non-conventional learning programs, professional, technical and skill-based education, value education and environmental education, policies, governance and administration. So these all are the topics today I am going to cover here. And before going to start, in the previous videos, if you go to my channel, in that I have made the playlist. You can check the videos related to the general paper, so they are very helpful for you to score the maximum marks in general paper. So let us start here the topic or the unit from the GK paper, higher education system. So this is the last unit of the given syllabus. So here I am going to start with the institutions of higher education, learning and education in ancient India. So actually if you consider the higher education or the education in India, earlier the education is going to take place in gurukulas and all those, but right now we have the systematic plan, the institutions. So let us discuss in brief about how exactly the education has improved uh, step by step. So here and before going to start, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel for upcoming videos, as well as for the information of the exam preparation. So if we consider the higher learning or the education in ancient India, how it was, history of education in ancient India is fascinating and is recorded and can be tracked to the ancient era. So ancient India began around 3rd century before Christ with elements of religious training and impart of traditional knowledge. So if we consider the ancient India higher education or learning, it all started in the 3rd century of BC. Majority of the education subject is about religious training and impart the traditional knowledge. So the sages and scholars, these sages are nothing but the teachers here, scholars are nothing but students. So sages and scholars imparted education orally. There were earlier no technology, only they have to listen and keep in mind. Usually to note on important points, they used to have the palm leaves and barks of trees were used for writing. Ancient India, both formal and informal ways of education system existed. Indigenous education was imparted at home, that is informal education is at home, and in temples or pathshalas, schools, chatuspadis and gurukulas where the formal education takes place. So there were people in homes, villages, temples who guided young children in imbibing ways of life. Temples were also the centers of learning and took interest in the promotion of knowledge of our ancient system. So earlier, if we take the education usually happens in a temples or gurukulas or pathshalas, what we call. So right now we have schools or colleges, institutions. Ancient Indian education had been evolved strictly on the foundation of Indian epistemological and philosophical tradition. So the idea of the ephemeral, ephemerality of life and the world, the concept of ultimate death, and the futility of modern pleasures had provided them with a special angle of vision. So overall, the education at higher level in ancient India usually covered the way how the life we have to live, and from the birth to the end of the life, how the things will happen, that they are going to explain. So the entire educational tradition originated in four principles. That's what we call four Vedas. Vedas, regarded as oldest among the literature of the world, are the original source of philosophy of life in ancient India. So if we take Vedas in the entire world, Vedas are regarded as the oldest uh, among the literature survey and original sources of philosophy of the way of life, how we can live. That was explained with the help of four principles, what we call four Vedas in ancient India. So, a study of these Vedas will enable one to get a thorough knowledge not only of the philosophy of life but also of the whole fabric of ancient Indian culture. So, if you want to know the culture of India or the way how the life we have to lead, everything was involved in those four Vedas. Consequently, the entire literature and philosophy of India, the Upanishads, Smritis, and Puranas all acknowledge the superiority of Vedas. The Vedas occupy a very important place in Indian life. There are six bases of Indian culture lies in the Vedas. So, which are four in numbers. First one is Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. These are the four principal or the four Vedas what we have. Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda, and Atharva Veda. So Gurukula, what we call earlier the education where takes place. Education in ancient India was more identified with Gurukula system. Ancient Hindu schools in India were residential in nature with shishyas or students living in the same house with Guru. So the students has to be with their Guru. So that's why we call the name Gurukula. The students live together irrespective of their social standing. Curriculum of Vedic education, methods and key aspects of Vedic era. So Vedic knowledge was imparted by the Guru or teacher to the pupil through regulated and prescribed pronunciation, which the pupil would commit to memory having listened to it alternately. Two methods of teaching were being practiced during Vedic period. First method is oral and the second one is the chintana, thinking. So in earlier you have to either listen or you have to have the chintana or thinking, what we call. Admission was made by formal ceremony, how we usually in our school, colleges or institution we make the admission right now. Earlier these admissions in those gurukulas or Pashala, what we call, has been done by doing Upanayana or initiation, by which the pupil left the home of his natural parents for that of the preceptor. Upanayana means the pupil has to leave their home who is with their parents, and he has to be together with their gurus uh, until the education completes. So, discipline of brahmacharya or celibacy was compulsory. Until their education complete, they must follow they must uh, uh, strictly follow the brahmacharya. Through married youth was entitled to get an education, yet he was denied the right of being a residential pupil. If even though if married, then they has to leave their residential home. Broadly, there existed three types of institutes, namely Gurukulas, Parishads, and Sammelans, what we call conference uh, in day-to-day life. So, Sammelanas also there earlier, Parishads academies, and Gurukulas are the schools. What we call. So, education in Sturas and epics. The period of the Vedic literature was followed by that of Sutra literature. It falls between 600 BC and 200 BC. The growth of Vedic literature had become so vast and diffused that the need was strongly felt to evolve some practicable method, as many epitomized conveniently the huge mass of Vedic literature. So, in this age, rule and regulations of education were manifested mainly in the form of Dharma Sutras. The Dharma Sutras embodied the principle of social conduct and a code of duties for the teachers and students. So, next come the Buddhist era. Education in Buddhist era. The main of education in Buddhist period was the purity of character. So, therefore, like the Vedic educational system, they also emphasize much on practice and training for pure character instead of psychological development of the student. So, their main priority is of the purity of character. Also, the main aim was to propagate Buddhism. Some Acharya gave importance to tours for educating the students. After the completion of education, the students were encouraged to gain practical and real form of theoretical knowledge gained by undertaking long trips. They have to go for tours and travel within India to gain the knowledge, become a solid and evident. At the beginning, Pratipada, and at the end of the close, Purnima, of each month, learned people used to assemble together, and this type of assembly together was a very important part of Buddhist education. In higher education, religion, philosophy, military science, medicine, and other difficult subjects were taught. Vedas were also studied for acquiring comparative knowledge. Nevertheless, the Atharva Veda was not included in curriculum up to Jataka period. So many monsters, viharas were set up for monks, how we call gurukulas. Here for Buddhist era, they used to call it as monasteries or viharas, were set up for monks and nuns to meditate. Their teachers and student, they can meditate, debate, discuss with the learned for their quest for knowledge during this period. Around these viharas, other educational centers of higher learning developed, which attracted students from China, Korea, Tibet, Burma, Ceylon, Java, and Nepal, other distant countries. So, in Buddhist period, there were many such centers where foreign students used to come for higher education. Among such centers are Takshashila, one of the notable place, which is called the spiritual capital of India of the time, Takshashila. So, not only the peoples from India, from foreign countries also used to come to viharas to learn at the ancient India. So, major educational centers and universities in ancient India. So, how we have the universities right now. Earlier, also there were educational centers and universities. So, first and foremost, very famous, that is Takshashila, the spiritual capital of India. Taxila, also the name has been given. Ancient times, Takshashila was a noted center of learning, including religious teachings of Buddhism for several centuries. For many years or the centuries, Takshashila was the center for learning of Buddhism. It continued to attract students from around the world until destruction in the 15th century. Okay. So, being situated at a distance of 20 miles in the west of Rawalpindi, Takshashila was the capital of Gandhar kingdom. According to Valmiki Ramayana, Prince 36 Bharat founded this city. So, this Takshashila is located near the west of the Rawalpindi, the place that exists right now in Pakistan. So, capital of Gandhar kingdom. So, Valmiki Ramayana, the Prince Bharat, who found this city and appointed his son Taksha, Bharata, the king Bharat son name was Taksha. So that's why the territory name has came as Takshashila. So Takshashila was an ancient Indian city which is now in northwestern Pakistan. It is an important archaeological site and UNESCO declared World Heritage Site in 1980. Its fame rested on the university where Chanakya is said to have composed his Arthashastra. That's why this name is also connected to the one of the brilliant monk or the guru we can call Chanakya. So he used to teach the Arthashastra. Archaeologist Alexander Konigam discovered its ruins in the mid 19th century. It was an early Buddhist center of learning. Well known graduates of this university include Chanakya, Pani, Charaka, Vishnu Sharma, Jivaka, etc. So, these all are the graduates or the gurus, what we call at that time in Takshashila. This is the world's oldest university. So, in exam, they may ask which is the oldest university and the spiritual capital of India, which we call Takshashila. So, next come the famous is Nalanda University. So, in the province of Bihar, situated at a distance of 40 miles southwest of modern Patna and 7 miles north of Rajgriha. Nalanda was a famous cultural educational center of North India. Nalanda was an ancient center for higher learning in Bihar from 427 BC to 1197 CE. Okay. The university established in the 15th century. So the first university is the Takshashila. Next comes Nalanda, which is in Bihar, located at this 40 miles southwest of Patna, and it is the famous cultural educational center in North India. So it was established in 15th century. So it was dedicated to Buddhist studies, but it also taught fine arts, medicine, mathematics, astronomy, politics, and the art of war. So Nalanda's important come from Buddhist roots as a center of learning. So they are specifically dedicated to Buddhist study, but other than that, they used to teach the other subjects also. Nalanda reached its zenith of progress at the hands of kings of the Gupta. At that time, the ruling king was Gupta dynasty. So they reached a very highest peak at that time. Kumaragupta, the king name, built a monastery there, a big and strong enclosing wall having only one gateway marked off the entire university area. So the Kumaragupta who built the monastery, one of the only one gateway was there for that university. So the center had a 9-story library and dormitories for students, housing 10,000 students in the and the providing accommodation for 2,000 professors. You can see. So right now also we have the higher education system like the professors or the students. So in that university, around 2,000 professors and 10,000 students were there in the Nalanda University. So Huanztang, the famous pilgrim for China, studied and taught for 5 years in the 7th century. So usually you are going to have the name, the famous name that is Huanztang from China. He taught 5 years in that university. The admittance examination in Nalanda was not easy. According to Huanztang, only about 20% of the students, 38, succeeded in this examination. The minimum age limit was 20 years for admission into university. The education board and lodging were provided to students free of cost by university. For around 700 years between the 15th and 12th century, Nalanda was a center of Buddhist studies in the ancient world. It is said that a great fire wiped out the library of over 9 million manuscripts at the beginning of 12th century. So there were the manuscript written by the great scholars or the student gurus at that time. So they all are wiped out. The library of over 9 million manuscript, you can imagine. So Nalanda, the unique symbol of Indian philosophy, arts, civilization, after a glorious uh, career of 700 years, fell a prey to barbarism of the Muhammadan conqueror named Bakhtiyar Khilji. Towards the end of 12th century, he destroyed the university and put the library on fire, and the innocent monk students were ruthlessly massacred. So, because of the attack of the Bakhtiyar Khilji, the Nalanda University has been destroyed. So, many of the monk students were died in that. So, history and war. The University of Nalanda was the educational center of international moral comparable in the universalism of its thought, the wide range of its studies, the international character of its community to the greatest universities of modern time like Oxford, Cambridge, Paris, and Harvard. 3. Vallabhi. Another important education center of Buddhist period was Vallabhi, capital seat of the Maitraka kings between 475 and 775 AD. It can aptly be regarded as the rival of Nalanda in fame and educational importance. Huyenstang too had found Vallabhi in the western side of India as glorious as Nalanda, and students from every part of India would flock there for education. So first comes the Takshashila, next Nalanda, and then plays role of Vallabhi. So which is also attracted the people or the pupils from different parts of India. This university was known for its training in secular subjects and had students from all over the uh, different parts. A higher quality of education, graduates of this university were generally offered high posts. Next comes the Vikramashila. The Vihara of Vikramashila was established by famous Emperor Dharampal of the Pala dynasty in the 18th century. Northern Meghad at beautiful hill of bank of the river Ganga. So in Vikramashila 108 scholars were appointed as in charge and acharyas of the various temples. 6 additional pandits were also appointed for general management. In all, there were 144 permanent scholars in the university. So the university was organized into 6 colleges. In the center, there was the central big building having 6 gates connected with each other. The main subject of study were Vyakarana, logic, philosophy, Tantra Shastra, Karmakanda. Later on, Tantra Shastra gained prominence. So degree were conferred on the graduates, postgraduates at that time. Samavartana, convocation by the rules of Bengal. So at that time also convocations were there to award the degree for the postgraduates. Vikramashila University was destroyed by Bakhtiyar Khilji in 1200. It is said that the Muslims took the Vihara as a fort and they killed most of the monks. So same the case here like at Nalanda University where the Vikramashila University was destroyed and many of the monks were died during that time. Mithili or Mithila, what we call. In the Upanishad age, Mithila became a prominent seat of the Brahmanical system education. It was named Videha. Raja Janaka used to hold religious conferences wherein learned Rishis and Pandits took part in religious discussions. From 12th century to 15th century, Mithila had been an important center of learning and culture, and besides literature, fine arts, scientific subjects were also taught there. There was a Nyaya Shastra too. Gangesha Upadhyaya found a school of new logic, Navya, the name of the school. Even up to period of Mughal Emperor Akbar, it continued to flourish as an important center of education and culture. Credit with century-wide repute. It was famous especially for Navya and the Tarkashastra logic. Next comes the Vedantapuri. Vedantapuri could not attain that level of fame reputed which either Nalanda or Vikramashila had accomplished. Still, nearly 1,000 monks and students resided and received education there. This was established by Dharmapala of Pala dynasty during the 8th century in Magad. According to the ancient Tibetan record, there were about 12,000 students studying at this university. Somapura. This again was established by Dharmapala, Vedantapuri, and this Somapura. Those all are established by Dharmapala, Pala dynasty during 8th century in Bengal. The university spread over 27 acres of land, of which the main campus was one of the largest of its kind. So it was a major center of learning for Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism. Ornamental terracotta on its outer walls depicted the influence of these three traditions. Nadia. Nadia were formerly called Navadvip. Navadvip. It is situated at the confluence of the Ganga and Jalangi rivers in Bengal. It was center of trade and commerce as well as learning and culture. The importance of Nadia grew still more as result of downfall of Nalanda and Vikramashila, and it began to regard as eminent center of Hindu culture and education. Education in Nadia University was imparted at three centers, namely Navadipa, Shantipur, Gopalpur. Sometimes students studied here for 20 years. So these all are the uh, major educational centers and universities in ancient India. Takshashila, Nalanda, Vallabhi, Vikramashila, Mithila, Vedantapuri, Somapura, Nadia. So these all are the major education centers or the universities. So you have to note down all the important points that I have covered here. Okay. So the next topic is evolution of higher learning and research in post independence India. So after that the evolution has started. So from ancient Indian to the uh, right now what we are having the education system, how the evolution has started, we should know. India has always been identified as a knowledge hub since the beginning of human civilization. Indian higher education system has been witnessing metaphoric changes and challenges through the years. From the ancient Gurukula system to modern technology based learning system have changed lives of millions of people. So are cross we have crossed or we have the evolution of higher education from Gurukula system to the modern technology. So if we want to discuss the first one is the Radhakrishnan Commission that was introduced in the year 1948 to 49. The first major commission to study the state of universities in India after independence was the Radhakrishnan Commission, also known as University Education Commission. The commission was appointed with specific aim to report Indian university education and suggested improvements and extensions that may be desirable to suit the present and future requirements of country. The major chapter in Radhakrishnan Commission reported was devoted to the problem of the medium or the language of instruction at the university level. The most significant recommendation of the commission was that University Grant Commission (UGC) modeled on the University Grants uh, Committee in Great Britain, set up as a liaison between a central government and universities. This last recommendation became a reality in 1956. University Grant Commission was established by an Act of Parliament that stated that the Constitution of India vests Parliament with the exclusive authority in regard to coordination and determination of standards in Institute of Higher Education and Research and Scientific Technical Institutes. So first you should keep in mind the important points about the Radhakrishna Commission that was introduced in the year 1948 to 49, and the important thing is the recommendation of this commission is the UGC, University Grant Commission, which was established in the year 1956 by the Act of Parliament. Secondary Education Commission, Mudaliar Communication we call, which was appointed by Government of India Revolution on 23rd September 1952 under the chairmanship of Dr. A. Lakshman Swamy Mudaliar. That's why the name we call Mudaliar Commission. Who is a VC or the Vice Chancellor of Madras University to examine prevailing system of secondary education in the country. It was aimed to suggest measures for its recognition and improvement, which with reference to aims and organization and content of secondary education in relationship to primary and higher education. College level education we can say. So Kothari Commission 1964 appointed under the provision of Revolution of Government of India 14th July 1964. It began its task on October 2nd 1964. Commission included eminent educationalists in diverse fields from India and abroad. It consists of total 70 members, where 14 members, 1 member secretary, associate, and the Dr. D.S. Kothari, chairman of UGC, was appointed as chairman of the commission. The name has been given, that's why Kothari Commission. Therefore, it is also, as I said, the commission submitted its report to the government on 29 June 1966, which includes 700 pages of document. It has been hailed as referred for all challenge and reform in education. Ramurthy Review Committee. The committee to review the National Policy on Education 1986 was formed on 7th November 1990 with Acharya Ramurthy as chairman and 16 others as members. This committee's report bears the little toward an enlightenment and human society. The committee was appointed to review the National Policy of Education 1986 and make recommendations regarding vision of policy and action necessary for implementation of revised policy. So the next topic from this higher education is orientational, conventional, non-conventional learning programs in India. So previous in this topic we have discussed about the evolution of higher learning research in post-independence India, after independence. So Radhakrishna Commission, Secondary Education Commission or Mudaliar Commission, Kotari Commission, Ramurthy Review Committee. So the next comes the orientational, conventional and non-conventional learning programs in India. Orientational education. Orthodox education involved in three basic processes. First one is Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana. Shravana, sage of acquiring knowledge by hearing, or Shruti we call. Meaning of Manana, pupils has to think, analyze themselves about what they heard. Nidhyasana, which means comprehension of truth and applying into real life. Institution of Oriental Learning in India. First one is Adyar Library and Research Center, Asiatic Society, Bandarkar Oriental Research Center. So overall, if you can note on all these about 10 to 15 orientational learning institutes in India. Okay. So conventional teaching. In exam they may ask. So all of these you can note down up to Vishwa Nanda Vishnu Bandhu Institute of Sanskrit and Indological Studies. Conventional teaching. So we are discussing about orientational, conventional and non-conventional learning programs in India. So conventional teaching means what? It is basically passive learning where the children listen to teacher and follow directions from the teacher who set the pace of instruction. Students provided with knowledge, skills and experiences. Conventional means formal teaching. Non-conventional teaching, active learning where the moves freely choosing your own work and pace at which it is being done. Teacher, if any, may just be facilitator, general development of students and mastering of learning models. So this is about the oriental, conventional, non-conventional learning programs in India. So the next topic of this higher education is fifth one, that is professional, technical and skill based education. So which are the statutory bodies or the regulatory bodies we have for professional, technical or the skill based education? First the name comes UGC, University Grants Commission, NCT, MCI, DCI, RUSA and NCRT, AICT, all the long form also has been given. And let us know the importance of all these regulatory bodies. Apex educational bodies in India. So first comes NAC, National Assessment and Accreditation Council. So these are the this is the statutory body which give the grades to the institutions or universities on the basis of the performance. National Policy on Education in 1986 initiated the idea of quality assurance in higher education in India. It was after this that the National Body of Accreditation (NBA) was formed under the All India Council for Technical Education and the National Assessment and Accreditation Council, which was established under UGC. NAC was established as an independent body under the UGC in 1994 with the objective of maintaining quality higher education in India. Especially the NAC accreditates central, state, private and deemed to be universities, institution of national importance and affiliated and autonomous colleges. Higher education institutes are eligible for accreditation only after they have had 2 rounds of graduates or have been in existence for 6 years, whichever comes first. University Grants Commission mandatory assessment and accreditation of higher educational institutes. Regulation 2012 mandates that all universities, institutions, and colleges be accredited by an accreditation agency. The evaluation of NAC has based on 7 criteria. So the first one, curricular aspects, teaching, learning evaluation, research, consultancy and extension, infrastructure, student support and progress, governance, leadership, management, innovation and best practices. So on all these criteria, the NAC is going to give grades to the universities or institutions. Accreditation grades are A, B, C, D or D based on the cumulative grade point average, CGPA what we call, of the scores received on the criteria listed above and subsections known as key aspects. So a grade of A, B, C means that institution has been accredited. Very good, good or satisfactory. The terms has been given respectively. A grade, a grade of D is unsatisfactory. So these three are overall we can say which we can consider. D means unsatisfactory, which is accredited by NAC. Points for each of the criteria are allotted differently for universities, autonomous college, affiliated colleges. The way they function. Next comes National Board of Accreditation, NBA. First was established as NAC according to the National Policy of Education. So the next National Board of Accreditation, NBA, which was established by AICTE in 1994 with the purpose of evaluating, and all the abbreviations you should remember in exam they may ask abbreviations of all these regulatory bodies. With the purpose of evaluating technical programs in the year 1994. It became an autonomous accreditation body in January 2010 with a mission to ensure that technical and professional institutions, including those in the engineering, technology, architecture, pharmacy, and hospitality field, are provided. The accreditation process starts with self-assessment report, as we call SAR, filled out by the institutions for programs that applying accreditation. So SAR, that is self-assessment report, includes these points: vision, mission, program, educational objects, program outcomes, curriculum, students' performance, faculty contribution, facilities, technical support, academic support, governance, institutional support, financial resources, continuous improvement. NBA assigns the institution one of the three possible states for accreditation. One is accredited, provisionally accredited, and not accredited. Accredited for a 5 years if it gets 750 points. It is accredited for 5 years and a minimum of 60% in each of the 9 criteria. 750 points plus 60% they have to score the institutions. University Grant Commission. It is the statutory organization established by the Act of Parliament in 1956 for coordination, determination, and maintenance of standards of university education. University education all come under University Grant Commission. Apart from providing grants to eligible universities and colleges, the Commission also advises the central and state government on the measure of which are necessary for the development of higher education. It functions from New Delhi as well as its 6 regional offices located in Bangalore, Bhopal, Guwahati, Hyderabad, Kolkata, and Pune. More details about UGC and functioning you can visit to the website. Higher, so next comes the NCERT, National Council of Educational Research and Training. The National Council of Education is an autonomous organization of the government established in September 1961. So all these institutional bodies you should remember when and how they have established, in which year. As a literary, scientific and charitable society under the Societies Registration Act, its headquarters are located at Sri Aurobindo Marg in New Delhi. They may ask the location. This is located in New Delhi. NCERT is the apex body for curriculum related matters. So, specially, it is dedicated to the curriculum related matters of the school education in India. It assists and advises the central and state government academic matters, support and technical assistance to a number of schools in India is provided by NCERT. Main objective is its constituent units are undertaken to promote and coordinate research in areas related to school education, and the textbooks, supplementary materials, journals, develop educational kits, multimedia, all are the responsibility of NCERT. Major constituent units of NCERT: National Institute of Education NIE, CIET, RIE at different places, Regional Institute of Education, and NERI. So at Shillong. So these all are the constituent units of NCERT. You should remember all these points. Central Board of Secondary Education. CBSE is another main governing body of education system in India. It comes under the purview of central government. It is a board of education for public and private schools. The board conducts final examination every spring for all India Senior School of Certification for class 10 to 12. The board also annually conducts the AIEEE exam for admission to undergraduate courses in engineering and architecture in numerous colleges of India. AIMT for medical colleges in India. Council of Indian School Certificate Examination CISE is a private non-governmental board of school education in India. It conducts two examinations: Indian Certificate of Secondary Education and Indian School Certificate ISC. This is meant for the students who have just completed 10th class. So National Institute of Open Schooling NIOS. It is educational board of national level established by the Government of India and the Ministry for Human Resource Development. This board meets the educational needs of students who cannot attend regular schools. This was established NOS in 1989 as an autonomous organization in pursuance of National Policy of Education by MHRD. National Council for Teacher Education (NCTE). This is the statutory body set up under the National Council for Teacher Education Act 1993 to facilitate planned and coordinate development of the teacher education system in the country and for regulation and proper maintenance of norms, standards in teacher education system. It is a national level statutory body established in 1995. So it's all depends upon the standards in teacher education. It is related to teachers. So All India Council of Technical Education (AICTE), which was established under the AICTE Act 1987. It authorized to take all steps that are considered appropriate for ensuring coordinate and integrated development of technical education and for maintenance of standards. Coordinate the development of technical education in country at all the levels, evolve suitable performance, lay down norms and standards for course, curriculum, physical instructional facilities, grant approval for starting new technical institutions and for introduction of new course of programs in consultation with agency concerned. Council for Agriculture Research ICAR, which is an autonomous organization under the Department of Agricultural Research and Education, which was established on 16 July 1929. So it basically focuses on the agricultural developments. There are many agricultural universities spanning the entire country. Agricultural universities, one central university and several deemed universities are there. 26,000 scientists for teaching, research and extension education. Over 6,000 scientists are employed in ICAR. All India Management Association. The All India Management Association is the national apex body. Is the national apex body of the management profession in India. AIMA was created with active support of the Government of India in 1957. So all the important points has been given here. The association is represented on a number of policy making bodies of Government of India. So next comes the Bar Council of India, statutory body created under the Parliament Act and in the year 1961. It is related to the legal profession and legal education in India. Center for Development of Advanced Computing CDA, which is uh, used to have the computer related education. So here the Premier Research and Development Organization of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology for carrying out the research and development in IT electronics associated areas. 88 itself was to build supercomputers consist of denial of important supercomputers by USA. So Central Hindi Direction CHD uh, established in March 1960. So Department of Higher Education to promote and propagate Hindi as well as to develop it as a link language throughout India. Central Institute of Educational Technology CIET, a constituent unit of NCERT, came into existence in the year 1984 with merge of the Center for Educational Technology and Department of Teaching Aids. Its major aim is to promote utilization of educational technologies, radio, TV, satellite communication, cyber media, separately or in combination, and appreciate used to enhance learning and improve productivity in classrooms. So Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages CIEFL. It is a national institute for providing higher education in English and other foreign languages in India. Um, so it is in Hyderabad, came into existence at 1985. Central Institute of Indian Language is at Mysore, subordinate office at Ministry MHRD, which was set up in 1969. The development of Indian languages by conducting research in the areas of language analysis, language pedagogy, technology, and language use in society. Development of Indian languages. Regional language centers RLS located at Bhubaneswar, Pune, Mysore, Patiala, Guwahati, Solan, and Lucknow. Commission of Scientific and Technical Terminology CSTT, which was set up on December 21st, 1960 by Government of India. Its work is to see that the evolved terms to ensure proper usage, necessary updating, correction, improvement on the work done through workshops, seminars, orientation programs by obtaining useful feedback. So it all overall depends upon the performance of the institutes. So Council of Architecture COA was constituted under the Provision Act 1972. It is responsible to regulate the education and practice of profession throughout uh, India besides maintaining the register of architects. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research CSIR was established in the year 1942, autonomous body that has emerged as largest research and development organization in India. Objective is to develop new tools applications for the industrial segment of country to accelerate scientific and technological progress of the country. So it has taken several initiatives to translate laboratory leads to marketable. The directorates have been formed and cover following specific sectors: aerospace, civil, ecology, mining, chemicals, many more areas. DCI, Dental Council of India, came into existence 1948 to regulate dental education and the profession of dentistry throughout India. Medical Council of India (MCI) was set up in the year 1956 to prescribe minimum standards for medical education required for granting recognized medical qualifications by universities or medical institutes in India. PCI, Pharmacy Council of India, established in 1948, controls pharmacy education profession in India up to graduate levels. Indian Nursing Council (INS) is a statutory body constituted under the Indian Nursing Council Act 1947. Standards of training for nurses, midwives, auxiliary nurse, midwives, and health visitors. Central Council of Homeopathy (CCH), which was established in 1973. The council prescribes and recognizes all homeopathic medicine qualifications. Central Council for Indian Medicine (CCIM), which was established in 1970, prescribes minimum standards of education in Indian system of medicine, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, TB. Rehabilitation Council (RC), established in 1986, it was soon found that society could not ensure proper standardization and acceptance of standards by other organizations. So RCI Act was amended by Parliament in 2000 to work it more broad-based. National Council for Rural Institutes, established in 1995, headquarters is in Hyderabad. Main objective of promoting rural higher education for advancing rural livelihoods with instruments of education on the lines of Mahatma Gandhi. Few other important higher education body in India: DOE-ACC, Department of Electronic Accreditation of Computer Course, commences from certificate level and goes up to master levels. FTTI, Film and Television Institute of India. ICPR, Indian Council of Philosophical Research. IIAS, Indian Institute of Advanced Study. IIFT, Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. IISc, Indian Institute of Science. ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. ISI, Indian Statistical Institute. ICAI, ICSI, IGE, IMS, IOP, Institute of Physics, carries out research tasks in theoretical and experimental areas of higher energy, nuclear, atomic, molecular, condensed matter physics. JNU, MCI, NAC, NLM, NUPA, RCI, these all are the important higher education bodies in India other than the mentioned NAC, NBA, CSI, RI, or UGC. So many more statutory bodies are there, and you should remember all their abbreviations and when they have established and what is the importance of them. Definitely one question will be there from this topic. So the last one, that is value education and environmental education. As the name indicates, value education, according to C.V. Good, value education is the aggregate of all the process by means of which a person develops abilities, attitudes, and other forms of behavior of positive values in the society in which he lives. So that's why the value education right now is very important in the society. According to father of Indian nation, M.K. Gandhi, if wealth is lost, nothing is lost. If health is lost, something is lost. If character is lost, everything is lost. So this is how he has defined uh, the value education. Accordingly, the National Conference on Minimum Curriculum Standards for Primary Stage, organized by NCERT 1917 July, emphasized the importance of inculcating in the students moral and spiritual values which form a part of our culture: honesty, kindness, charity, tolerance, etc. The national policy on education has laid considerable emphasis by highlighting need to make education a forceful tool for the cultivation of social and moral values. Dr. Kothari tried to emphasize the value, that is democracy, socialism, equality for all religions, national value or constitutional value. Next comes social value, professional value, religious value, environmental uh, education. This is these are the values that one should acquire: national values or constitutional value, social value, professional value, religious values, according to dear Dr. Kothari. So, environmental education enables learners to develop a structure of knowledge about the world, seek knowledge that they can use and develop throughout their life. Environmental education empowers learners by enabling them to participate in a suitable future. Characteristics of environmental education is one of the most effective tool for increasing general level public environment awareness. It is expected that environmental education will promote environmental sustainability society throughout the world. Other objectives of environmental education is awareness, knowledge, altitudes, skills, participation, evaluation, ability. EESD, that means environmental education for sustainable development. There are many important key points related to EESD that increases people knowledge, awareness about the environment and associate challenges, develops the necessary skills and expertise to address challenges, and fosters attitudes, motivation, commitments to make informed decision and take responsible action. Especially UNESCO uh, plays important role. Environmental education has been placed at center of efforts for achieving sustainable development for the last several decades. So, the government of India and inclusive growth is reflected in major policies of various ministries, and all specific initiative programs are adopted through the 5-year plan so as to achieve sustainability. In order to achieve goals of sustainable development, one of the first step taken was in the direction of environment conservation and protection by promoting environment education. So the last, nothing but the least, that is policy, governance, and administration. What are the policies? How the government runs, and what is the administration? First, Constitution of India. Constitution of India is the supreme law of India. It lays down the framework defining fundamental political principles, establishes the structure, procedure, power stand, duties of government institutes. So, it is the longest written constitution of any seven country in the world. The nation is governed on the basis of this constitution. B.R. Ambedkar is regarded as the chief architect of Indian Constitution. Originally, the constitution adopted on 26 November 1949 contained the preamble, 395 articles, 22 parts, 8 schedules. Currently, number of articles has since increased to 48 due to 104 amendments since it enactment 1950. Constitution now has 25 parts and 12 schedules. Various sources of our Constitution: Government of India Act 1935, British Constitution, US Constitution, Irish Constitution, Canadian Constitution, Australia, Constitution of Germany, French, Japan, and USSR. So, our Constitution has been built from the various important points from the Constitution of different countries. Government of India Act 1935. These are the concepts has been covered. British Constitution. These are the concepts covered from British Constitution. Parliamentary system, rule of law, legislative, and etc. U.S. Constitution. These are the points you can note down here. Fundamental rights, independence of justice, all these. Irish, especially here, the things that we have adopted here is the directive principles of state policy. Canadian Constitution, major things that we can see here: the federation with a strong center. Australia, joint setting of two houses of parliament. Germany, suspension of fundamental rights that we have acquired. French, republic and ideals of liberty. South African Constitute, amendment of Constitute and election of members. Japan, law establishment. USSR, 5-year plan, fundamental duties, etc. So, Constitution of India, 1949, preamble. Uh, we, the people of India, having solemn resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist and secular democratic republic, and to secular to all citizens. So, justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, all are the key points of this Constitution of India, the preamble. Classification of fundamental rights. Originally provides 7 fundamental rights: right to equality, freedom, exploitation, freedom of religion, cultural educational rights, for property, constitutional remedies. At present, there are only 6 fundamental rights. 6 fundamental rights are like this: right of equality, Article 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These all comes under right of equality. Right of freedom, Article 19. You have the freedom to speech, assemble, movement, form association, etc. So, right against exploitation, Article 23 and 24. Right to freedom of religion, Article 25, 26 are related, and also 27, 28. Cultural and educational rights comes under Article 29 and 30. Right to Constitutional Article 32. So, right to education in India, Article 21A. So, these are the questions they may ask in exam related to uh, the topic of policies, governance, and administration. Education, if you take right to education, education is a fundamental human right. It encourages individual. Nonetheless, millions of children and adults continue to be denied educational chances, often as a result of poverty. 2009 Right to Education Act guaranteed free and compulsory education. So it explains importance of free and compulsory education. The right to education is a cornerstone for ensuring that every child has the opportunity to receive a high quality education. Essentially, this act ensures that all children from economically disadvantaged and families receive free elementary education. That is under Article 21A. Other constitutional provisions uh, promote and develop educational structure. Article 28, 29, 30, 46, and 337. These all are related to the uh, constitutional provisions to promote education. So, international organizations in the field of education. On the basis of international recognition, the right to education is enriched in international law in the Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and is regarded as basic human necessity. Many international events like Article 13, 14 state everyone has the right to elementary education. UNESCO right to education in the Convention Against Discrimination in Education. Many additional international human rights accord the recognized and propagate the right to education. There are different articles are related at international level. Article 28, 29, 10 and Article 3. Some multinational organizations like UNESCO, UNICEF, Amnesty International, World Bank, International Labour Organization promote higher education. NEP 2020 highlights for higher education. NEP for higher education, these are the key points. Gross enrollment ratio in higher education to be raised up to 50% over the year 235. 3.5 crore seats to be added in higher education. Undergraduate education can be 3 to 4 years with multiple exit options. Academic bank of credits, transfer of credits, multidisciplinary education, research universities, IITs, IIMs to be set up as models for best multidisciplinary education of global standards. National Research Foundation will be credited as an apex body. Research culture and building research capacity across higher education. These are the major points or the key highlights of NEP. Higher Education Commission of India will be set up as a single overcharging umbrella body for entire higher education system. Affiliation of colleges is to be phased out in 50 years and a stage-wise mechanism is to be established for granting grade autonomy to colleges. Besides these key points or the highlights, NEP 2020 has proposed to set up autonomous body, the National Education Technology Forum, to provide a platform for free exchange of ideas on the use of technology in order to enhance learning, assessment, planning, and administration. National education policy has also emphasized on uh, setting up of the Gender Inclusion Fund, which aimed at creating an environment of equitable and fair quality education for girls as well as transgender students. Flexible UG course with multiple entries and exits. Undergraduate courses, if you take, there are four options available here. After first year, he will get the certificate, he or she. Second year, academic diploma. Third year, bachelor degree student will get. Fourth year, program bachelor with research. Further, the credit earned at various levels will get credited into digitalized academic bank of credit. HECI, a single regulatory body with four verticals. As per National NEP 20, a single regulatory body will guide higher education in India, which is HECI, have four verticals to deal with different functions of higher education. First one is NHERC, GEC, HEGC, NAC, National Accreditation Council. Their role also has been mentioned here. NEP 20 focuses on research, National Research Foundation. That is at the level of IITs and multidisciplinary education research universities. NEP 2020, greater autonomy and multidisciplinary approach. Policy has envisioned phasing out the system of affiliation over the next 15 years and providing graded autonomy to colleges. NEP 20, use of technology in higher education. So it also emphasized the use of technology in multiple ways to enhance the teaching learning experience and also to make quality education accessible for masses. So there are different ways to promote the higher education by using technology, online education, digital educations, open and distance learning, MOCs, NEFT, and School of Education. Transforming curricular and pedagogical structure has been given here. Existing academic structure and new academic structure after NEP. Earlier to from school up to 10th level, school will be their primary and higher education. After that 10 years, uh, he has to go for the college level. After that, higher education. So that was the earlier education system. So after NEP, uh, these are the stages the student has to cross. 3 years, that is fundamental stage. Uh, uh, 3 years plus 2 years. Okay, that is called fundamental stage. And after 5 years, the 3 years course include class of 3 to 5. Here, for beginning 3 years, he is in the nursery stage, and class 1 to 2, that is 2 years. So both have been included here. 3 plus 2 fundamental stage. 3 to 5 years, that is preparatory stage. 3 years, after that 3 years, that is 6 to 8 middle stage. 4 years, that is 9 to 12, secondary stage. So these all are the new academic structure, new pedagogical and cultural structure, that is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. 3 years in Anganwadi or preschool and 12 years in school, we can say. NEP 2020 chapter. Chapter 1, and these are the content introduction. So, School of Education, Part 1, Part 2, Higher Education, Part 3, Other Key Areas to be focused, Making it happen, how we can execute the NEP. So, these all are the chapters of NEP and the content. So, this is all about the higher education system in India. First, we have discussed about the higher education in ancient India and then revolution,